What's good, everybody? It's Friday. We got March Madness around the corner. I got my guy G-Sportz in the building. G, what's good? How you feeling?
One of my favorite times of the year, man. The madness has started.
It has, bro. Yesterday was crazy. Men's tournament has been insane. Women's tournament kicks off today. LSU women's basketball, 5 p.m. versus Jacksonville, Little Duval. G, I'm going to just jump right into it, bro. The spread is 52 points. They are predicting a ass whooping in Baton Rouge. I got a little next gen stat for you, my guy. LSU's average margin of victory this season, 33 points. They average 95 points per game. Been an offensive team for sure. What's your thoughts on that spread? Too high, too low? I mean, if you're predicting a 50 ball in a tournament game, you feeling confident. That's a crazy take.
Usually, when you talk about the girls' side of things for March Madness, you don't really see too many close games, especially in the first or the second round. Uh, the men's are a little different. You see close games. Sometimes you see upsets. That's not something you're gonna see too much in the women's. It happens every blue moon. So I think that 50-point spread is pretty accurate. Um, I think LSU won't get their real test to probably the Sweet 16.
Yeah, because the way that it's playing out, or at least it could play out, let's say LSU beats Jacksonville tonight. They have Texas Tech, and they have Villanova. Winner of that one plays potentially LSU on Sunday. And then if you move on from that, you're going to play Duke. And they had a matchup with Duke already this season. G, they were down. I don't want to speak out of turn, but it was over double digits before halftime. They were able to right this ship. I feel like the real way to summarize this team all year is that they're kind of streaky. They have flashes, but then sometimes they're crippled by turnovers or just poor shot selection or maybe a slump, if you will. What do you think is like the main thing that they have to tweak, if you will, to get to that Sweet 16, to not get busted in the second round? Because I'll just go ahead and address the elephant in the room, G. I'm a little worried about the second round, bro. The Sweet 16, it seems like evident. I can even see an Elite 8. FanDuel got LSU women's team at like minus 350 to get the Elite 8. So, I mean, the path is there. It's just more so about all the other things that, are happening around them with this team right now.
I hope I'm wrong when I say this because I'm definitely rooting for the girls at LSU, bro. I like their team for the most part. When I say I like their team, I like their personalities. I like Michaela Williams. I like Jada Richard. I like Flor G. I like Phil Wiley. I like them. I like their charisma. I like the way they carry themselves. Unfortunately, I just don't see them getting to the Final Four, bro. I think Duke could possibly take them out in the Sweet 16. That's when they'll meet up with Duke, right? Sweet 16.
Yeah.
Um, and I think Carol Lawson has done a great job with Duke girls team. I think they have gotten better and better, and they're not the same team they was when LSU played them at the beginning of the year, right? And then even if LSU skates by Duke, I just do not see them getting past UCLA, bro.
Right.
UCLA is really, really good. They got some big ass guards, and they probably the best shooting team in the country. They got like four girls shooting over 35% from three. Right, I think they got two girls shooting, one girl shooting 44%, and the other girl shooting 40%. And they got bigs, and they well coached, bro. And I want to say LSU played UCLA last year and lost, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, that's who put them out the tournament. So, I've been saying it all year. I'm gonna sound like I'm beating a dead horse. LSU struggles playing man to man. If you think you're gonna come in this tournament and be able to run zone and get all the way to the Final Four, it ain't gonna happen, bro. They have too many well coached teams in girls basketball, and they have too many girls teams that can shoot the ball all over the place. UCLA and Duke will eat them alive if they can't play man to man defense, bro. And that's something they've been struggling with all year. The last point I'm gonna make is Jada Richard gonna have to be hitting on all cylinders. I know this is her first year getting, time. Last year she barely played, and this gonna be hard. This gonna be new for her, bro. Playing on this stage with these lights, it's gonna be difficult. If she plays at a high level, I think LSU has a slight chance to get to the Final Four. But more often than not, when you see people coming to the tournament, especially at the point guard position that doesn't have experience, they struggle a little bit. So I just don't see LSU making that run to the Final Four, bro. I don't see it.
Building on your point with UCLA last year, they beat LSU 72-65 in Spokane. That was in the Elite Eight to advance to the Final Four. So it's almost the same matchup now. And then to your point about Jada Richard, I feel like this could be an overanalyzation, but just looking at LSU's roster and their rotation, bro, they got 5 freshmen that they throw out there. So I mean, Meg is hurt right now. She was wearing a boot for most of the season. I don't know if she's gonna be ready for eternity, but still, I mean, even if you're running the 4 with Divine, with Grace, with Bella, and then with Zakiah, I don't want to call them green G, but I want to talk about like working through inexperience in a moment where the lights are bright. Sure, okay, cool. You get maybe a layup round 1 in Jacksonville, and I hope I don't have to eat these words. And you get 2 different games in Baton Rouge, all in all, to be able to get into the groove, if you will. But like you said it best, the lights are bright, bro. You can't simulate this. This ain't a regular season game. This ain't anything you've seen before. So what do you do in that situation to prepare your team to get ready? Like I don't know how I would approach that situation.
You have to lean on your veterans. You have to lean on Flaw G. You have to lean on Fawali. You have to lean on Michaela Williams. They've been on this stage. They played at the highest of the highest, bro. So they gotta those gotta be the 3 people that propels this team, right? And the freshmen that come in, they just gotta do their role, play their role. Don't try to do too much. Jada Reshaw, she just gotta come in the game. Don't turn the ball over. Hit people in these spots. Play really, really good defense. That's the only way LSU could be have an opportunity to be there, survive and advance in this tournament, in my mind.
So let's say they match up with Duke Elite Eight. They go into, or excuse me, Sweet 16. They go into the Elite Eight. They play UCLA. What would you think? We're talking about 50-point spread right now. What's the spread right there? Because if you look at the odds for the Spokane region, UCLA, or excuse me, the Sacramento region, UCLA is minus 300. LSU's plus 250.
So
That's
it's gonna be
a considerable favorite.
Right, and it's gonna be essentially a home game for UCLA.
In Sacramento, right?
I think, in my opinion, bro, and I know LSU fans don't want to hear this, but I think UCLA is 8 to 10 points better than LSU. That's just how I feel. LSU will have to come into that game really, really playing a high level and hope that UCLA just off their game that they can win. That's just how I feel, bro. If LSU was a better man-to-man team, I might feel a little differently. We know they can score the ball, bro, but can you get stops? And in the tournament, you got to get stops down the stretch, bro, especially in the second half. And if you can't stay in front of your man, if you can't control dribble penetration, it just opens up the lane, bro. It's going when you're trying to play help side defense, you can't leave their shooters. It's gonna be tough on them, bro. I just think they're gonna really, really struggle when they meet up with Duke or UCLA.
Especially, yeah, because them teams are moving the ball so well, bro. It's one pass, and you're just getting them all in a blender. I want to ask you this, talking about UCLA, talking about all these other top teams. So the ranking in terms of odds to win the Natty, number 1, you got UConn, UCLA, Texas, South Carolina, then LSU. You think South Carolina at 4 is a little bit of a stretch? And they're dating back to that Texas matchup in the tourney, 78 to 61 naturally. But I want to pop this up into your head because we always said this with Mulkey. And I'm not trying to give Dawn an excuse, but I'll give her an excuse. What if it was just a bigger picture thing, G? What if it was, all right, cool, yeah, whatever, y'all got this one, it's good, we'll see you again. We'll see you again. We'll get it when it matters. Like, I find it interesting that Texas is better odds, and it's not by much, but I mean, it is what it is. South Carolina has the 4th best odds. Texas has the 3rd. I would have guessed it would be maybe UConn, then South Carolina, then maybe UCLA. I just found that interesting. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you make a good point when you talk about that, because when you're one of the top 5, top 6 teams in the country, top 7 teams in the country, winning your conference tournament really not going to do too much.
Right.
Dawn knew even if she would have won the SEC tournament, she probably wouldn't go get the number 1 overall seed. She got a 1 seed, but she didn't get the number 1 overall seed.
Right.
So it's hard to motivate your kids to go out there and have something to play for, in a sense. We know we win or lose, we probably gonna be in the same position, right? It kind of goes back to baseball, right? With Jay Johnson, the year they won the Natty, right? Didn't they lose the SEC championship?
I'm pretty sure.
I think they lost the SEC championship. I mean, he kept talking about in the press conference that, look, we went out there and played our best ball, but this is not our end goal. Our end goal is to be the last team standing in Omaha. And what happened? They lost it. They lost in the SEC championship. It didn't really affect their seeding too much, and they went on to win the national championship. I think that was Dawn Staley's thought process when she went into the championship game against Texas.
Yep. let's speaking of Texas, let's
And when I
switch
say that,
gears.
I'm not saying Dawn went out there trying to lose. That's not what I'm
Right.
saying.
It was just more so there was a bigger picture in the end. Like, do I want to try to burn their battery and hurry up and play catch up in the second half and exhaust, risking injury just for something that in the end, we really not even focusing on preseason anyway. SEC title, bro. We trying to win the natty. We win natties over here. That's the focus at least. So I see it. But men's tournament side of it. Let's talk NC State first. We'll wait. We got to keep it LSU related. So the general and the rumor mill, bro. A lot of people want to return to LSU. You got kind of mixed parties on it. You got people who are all for it, pay whatever dollar amount. Got some people kind of questioning, would it be worth it? What's your thoughts on it? Buying out another head coach in a major sport. I don't know if it's a major buyout, so to speak. It's like $10.5 million. It's a lot easier than Brian's, which was like 5 times that. But what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that could grow some legs, or is it just more so like rumor mill at this point?
Yeah, I definitely think that the boys basketball need to go in a different direction at head coach. I just think that Matt McMahon wasn't a good fit. When you talk about Will Wade, you know when Will Wade comes back or wherever he's at, he's going to go get the top players in the country. You know that he can recruit his ass off with the best of them.
Yep.
But if you bring Will Wade back, do you really think he puts you as one of the best teams in the SEC? Just bringing him back, right? Because when he was here, he went and got some of the top players in the country. The Trendon Walfers of the world, the Cam Thomases of the world, the Javante Smarts. I can go on and on. And the furthest they got was the Sweet 16.
Yeah.
And so when people keep talking about bringing Will Wade back, like he's going to automatically put LSU men's basketball into the Final Four, or in the mix to compete for a national championship every year. I just don't see it. I don't see it. And if I'm Will Wade, why would you want to leave the ACC and come to the SEC? 10, 12 years ago, the ACC used to be the best basketball conference in the country. Still a really good conference. But the SEC, bro, it's a gauntlet. If I'm Will Wade, I'm staying at NC State, right? And the only teams you really got to compete with is Duke. North Carolina is a shell of themselves.
Yep.
Miami is solid at best. Who else
SMU,
you got? Louisville, solid at best, right? You don't have a bunch of juggernauts in the ACC right now. Really good teams, but you don't have it. The SEC got about 7 teams that could go compete to get to the Final Four.
Arkansas, Vandy, Florida.
Tennessee,
you might be able to throw Texas, yeah.
You got some teams. So if I'm Will Wade, I'm staying put at NC State, bro. And I'm going to try to be top 3 in my league every year, right? That's what I'm trying to do. And I think he has a great opportunity to do that because the way North Carolina is trending right now, it ain't good, bro. The way Hubert Davis has been running that program, I think this is a great time for NC State to be able to take control and be one of the top dogs in the ACC. So if I'm Will Wade, I'm chilling, bro. I'm not even moving to the SEC and putting myself through that gauntlet year in and year out.
And yeah, because you already made the tourney. I mean, I know it's the first 4, but bro, you're in there. You're dancing in March in year 1 in an environment. I feel like that. I'm not gonna say it's hard to create success instantaneously, but you are competing with a lot of schools that have a lot of bread and a lot of talent in a conference that I feel like you've been really irrelevant in a while in terms of NC State. And I'm gonna add on to your point there. So initially, whenever I'm thinking about Will Wade coming back, it was more so of like it's definitely emotional. Right? Because all the LSU fans want to see the full circle moment. He left. Everybody was feeling like he got screwed over. If he comes back, it's kind of like a redemption story. That's probably half of the steam behind this rumor, if I'd have to guess. The other half would be there's just nothing going on. And the last time an LSU fan can remember any bit of relevance with men's basketball, it's with my boy Will Wade. So, like the McNeese thing, too, they made the tournament. This is their 3rd year in a row making the tournament. They made it twice with them, which is very impressive. I mean, yeah. They got thwacked by Vandy, but like, hey, bro,
it was a close game though.
I was about to say you kind of had a run,
and they had a lead for a good bit of the first half.
I'm pretty sure they had a 10-point lead. That was one of the underdogs that cashed that 10-point thing. But
yeah, and that's a testament. That's a testament to Will Wade. He left McNeese better than he found it.
And I'll say this too with Will Wade at NC State. So I don't remember exactly how bad they went down. It was almost double digits. Regardless, they fight back into it, and you're trying to swat an inbound on the last second to be able to get another possession. So my point is like the culture he's instilled, I respect it, but I do see where you're coming from because think about this, and I hate to bring this up, G, but I'm just going to bring it up. I'm just going to be real. He was getting the best players because think about why he had to leave LSU. He definitely was getting the best player.
He was getting dudes, bro. He was getting top 75, top 50 dudes when he was at LSU.
But
it didn't equate to winning.
No.
When I say winning, it didn't equate to him advancing in the tournament. I think the first they ever got was the Sweet 16. And I think it's a difference between being a really good coach in game and developing year in and year out and being a good recruiter.
Mm-hmm.
I think Will Wade is a decent coach in game, but I think he's a top tier recruiter.
Yep.
He go get dudes, and he talked about it after the game that this roster wasn't good enough, and he promised the whole Wolfpack country, the whole Wolfpack nation at NC State that they're gonna have a better roster going forward, and I don't doubt him on that, bro. He's gonna go get them guys, and he would be stupid to leave NC State and go to LSU. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah, I can agree, especially with the way that it went. I mean, if he didn't make the tourney, if there was like a bunch of question marks, yeah, but dude, it looks like the foundation you're setting is almost going in the same direction as it did in McNeese. And if you can do that in that conference, in this situation, there's no telling what type of job offers you get. Because to your point, LSU, in this conference, is crowded, a lot of fish in the sea. So, I mean, you might be able to get one of the premier job offers.
And think about this. Football will always be king at LSU. Mm-hmm. Always. And nothing you can do
right after
to overtake and overcome what football is at LSU. No. At NC State, though,
that's all they got.
You could be the top dog on campus.
Yes.
That's how I think, bro.
No, 100%.
Because think about it. When you start talking about the donors and you talk about NIL and things of that nature, they're going to pour more into basketball than they will football at NC State. Especially if he start getting that thing rolling.
At LSU,
yeah, all the money gonna go toward football. You know what I'm saying? And when I say that, yeah, and when I say that, I know they putting limitations on what each sport can have. I think what basketball is 12 million.
Supposedly,
football is 20 million. I'm really talking about the under the table stuff that be going on with these businesses and backdoor deals. That's what I'm really talking about.
The Brinks trucks. The brain strokes, man. What's your thoughts on the rest of the bracket, though? How you feeling? I don't know if I could pick a champion, bro, because you know who my champion would have been? It would have been Duke. And I know that you get first-round jitters and like, man, they probably were sleeping halfway through the end of the game, bro. They were down like 70% of that game, though. So feeling less confident about my pick. I'll make a wild one just because normally March Madness is a little ridiculous and it kind of just takes a left turn. I'll throw out Purdue because they had an interesting game against Michigan. In their conference tourney. So that's my weird pick. I'm trying to throw a curveball last second.
Yeah, I got St. John's. Everybody that know me know I'm a Rick Pitino fan. Since I've been a kid. I'm rooting for them. I think they got better and better as the season went on. They can go like 8-9 deep on their bench. They one of the best defensive teams in the country. They got one of the best players in the country, and Zuby, the big man that could shoot. He could block shots. He's athletic. He could run the floor. They guard play superior. So I'm really thinking that St. John's going to have a chance to get to the Final Four. Not only that, cut down the nets. And I got them beating Arizona.
Come on, man. Hey, I like that reel that they posted the other day with Coach Pitino, and he was talking about he ain't bringing out the white suit. He ain't bringing out the white suit. And then bam. There he come out the tunnel with that
I got them beating Duke in the Elite Eight.
That would be tough, bro. Hey, I'm not going to I wouldn't even hate on it, bro. Especially with the way that Duke's looking right now. I don't know. It's an interesting year in college basketball because, and that's always like this. You never really can predict, but I just feel like it's getting more and more wide open. Obviously, NIL, transfer portal, all this good stuff. But it seems like it's getting unpredictable with the way the underdogs are going, all this good stuff. Very interesting. All right, G, let's segue into spring football starting next week, supposedly. I don't know if we have a concrete announcement. Last day is April 24th. It's a Saturday. I'll guess that's the spring game. No word officially on practice, all this good stuff, yada, yada, yada. Got some questions, though, if you will, for spring camp? These are my top 3 questions. First one, biggest one, Sam Levitt, injury. How's the mobility looking? How's his availability? Does he favor anything? Don't want to have a Garrett Nussmeyer episode again. Number 2, just kind of want to see the new faces of the defense. Our boy TJ Dottery, Prince Well. Yeah, I mean, you lose guys like Mansour, you lose guys like Perkins, you lose damn near the whole D line. You're going to want to kind of see who's the next man up in that regard. And then the third one, honestly, this should have been number 1, G. This offensive line. Like, Seaton's at left tackle. And Weston Davis will probably get thrown in there. Braylon Moore is your center. But then you got a lot of questions. Solomon Thomas, does he play left? Does Bill Bordelon slide in at right? What do you do with all these pieces in that regard? Those are my top 3 things. What you hearing about spring? What's your questions? And how you feeling at this point by LSU football?
Yeah, for sure, the offensive line is my number 1 question. I want to see that cohesiveness. I want to see the physicality. I want to see if they're on the same page. And I know that's kind of hard to determine in spring football because they thud a lot. They do have periods throughout spring where they do scrimmage and they go 100%. So I just want to see, how physical they're going to be, bro. I want to see the mindset of this offensive line. I know the offensive line coach that Lane Kiffin brought in, he's super, super high on this guy. He think he's going to be able to change the whole mentality in the trenches for the O-line. So we're going to see. And then I want to see the receivers, bro. One thing about Lane Kiffin, we all talked about it. He's a great evaluator of talent, especially on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of these guys at receiver are not no big names. I think the biggest name he even got is Eugene Wilson from Florida, right? Who I think is a really good player. But the kid from Old Dominion, the kid from Hawaii, they tape look really, really good. But I want to see him in person. I want to see him with my own eyes. I want to see how they look in that offense and see if these some guys that could do what Deuce Alexander did at Ole Miss or Stribling. You know what I'm saying? Or Caden Lee. I want to see if these guys could produce like those guys did. And if they can do that and they meet the eye test, bro, I think you can see this LSU team be really, really good. I have no question marks about the defense. I think Blake is going to do a really good job with that team. I do want to see how they're going to go about the corner situation. With Michael Turner and
PJ Woodland, DJ
PJ Woodland, who's going to play outside, who's going to play nickel, right? I want to see that. I want to see the rotation at corner. They got the talent, but I just want to see the rotation.
Ty Benefield, too. Been hearing a lot of good stuff about Ty, the safety. And Tamarcus Cooley, still got him. That's one of the more, unsung heroes. Deshaun Spears, got him to return. Now, I know, he's playing safety, but you probably can move him around, get creative, get him on the field, get him in some packages, some looks. Get Blake
I think one of the biggest things that nobody's talking about is Weeks coming back, bro.
Right.
I think that's huge for that defense, bro, especially for Blake Baker and for him and TJ Dottery to be on the same page. I think Witt's going to do it. Him and TJ going to do well together.
And he's healthy. Witt's healthy because he was battling that ankle for a while. And not to say that it was slowing him down or anything, but he said in interviews at times, he would plant and it would feel clunky. Like he's got plates, he's got all kind of hardware and shit. And it's just sometimes you got to gain trust in your body again.
Yeah.
So having all that behind you that whole year, and then it's your money year, bro. It's like this is it. This is your opportunity. He saw his brother Wes go through it last year, and then naturally you got Zach following in afterwards. I wonder how they're gonna work him into it because he did get playtime last year. He actually got on the field.
All three of them was on the field at one time.
Yeah, Devon Keys, big piece. I want to ask you about this. T. Martin, the quarterback coach from the Ravens. What's your thoughts on them adding him to the staff? Dude, they got a stacked staff. Buku coaches across the board.
Yeah, very, very familiar with T. Martin. Won a national championship at Tennessee. I think, what he did with Lamar Jackson in Baltimore. You saw the progression and you saw him elevate every year in Baltimore, won MVPs and things of that nature. So although we know Sam Levitt is not the same type of player that Lamar Jackson is, but you saw Lamar Jackson get better as a passer every year. So I would think that he's going to bring some different ideas, some different techniques, and be able to show Sam Levitt on how to elevate his game even more. And like I always say, bro, Lane Kiffin is somebody who I respect when you talk about evaluating coaches to bring in on his staff and players. For him to bring T. Martin to Baton Rouge to be his quarterback coach, he must think highly of him.
And he's been in enough buildings where he's seen what you need in a coach, what you need in support staffs, what you need from assistants. I mean, he's got the best blueprint of any college football team possible in Alabama. And then obviously you're able to put a little bit of your own inkling on it at stops like FAU, at stops like Ole Miss. But this is the biggest one of them all, bro. This is for all the marbles, if you will. This is the put up or shut up spot, no doubt. Before we get out of here, I want to talk about free agency real quick. NFL. Amik Robertson. Come on, man. My boy, going to the Commanders. What's your thoughts on that?
Really like it. Get to go to defense. What the head coach is Dan O'Quinn, who was a defensive minded guy. I think he's going to do really, really well in that system. Just happy he was able to get to that fourth contract. Especially at his size and height. That's not something that's common in the NFL. But it just goes to his mentality and his work ethic, bro. He put himself in position to be in the league. I think this is 6th year he going into, either 6th year or 7th year he going into. But
longevity.
It's kudos to him and how he take care of his body and how he's a student of the game, bro. So I think he's gonna have a really good year with the Commanders.
No, I agree. He's always training, bro. I just saw a video of him with Clyde Edwards. I want to say this too. Now, I'm not saying nothing. I'm just saying Commanders release Marshawn Lattimore, bring in Amik Robertson. Speaks volumes of like his value in the NFL. I'm not saying that's the direct replacement. I'm just saying though, that's a stamp. And then I also saw this too that kind of made me interested a little bit. Lions fans were hurt, bro. They're like, oh no,
they didn't have the money.
Yeah, it's just interesting to watch. Like, we're talking about longevity, but also just like the impact he made, where people know he's a dog. I mean, that quote, "You can't bury what comes from the dirt," bro. That shit stuck. That's what they released whenever the Commanders announced that they got him. So it's like he is a known killer. You know what I'm saying? He's a dog, bro. So it's a good addition. And he's with JD5, so that's pretty cool. It's a pretty.
And I think, like I say, man, going somewhere like the Commanders with Dan O'Quinn, who was a defensive minded head coach, I think he's gonna put Amik in position that highlights what he does well. So I'm looking forward to seeing him have a big year.
Yep. No, I agree. What's your thoughts on the Saints? You got ETN, got a nice guard from the Bills.
Not like he said in the press conference.
HN, my bad, everybody. Yeah,
he got tired of people correcting. He got tired of correcting people, man.
You're right. I'm glad you stopped.
I like the pickup, bro. I think he got 1,000 yards season since he's been in the NFL. I think it's only been 1 year where he didn't have 1,000 yards. He catches the ball at the backfield. I think this is the writing is on the wall that Kamara is playing his last days with the New Orleans Saints, bro. And I know people don't want to hear that, but I think it's time to move on. If you can get a 5th round pick for him, go ahead and do it. And I think it should be Eching, and Kendra Miller. I think that should be a 2-headed monster. And David Neal.
Man, huge.
David Neal had a really good year, like them last 6-7 games of the season this year.
I want to bring this up, talking about losing Kamara. You lost to Mario Davis. He went back to the Jets. Cam Jordan, Lord knows what he's doing. He's tied to the Chiefs. He's taking so long to make a decision. I'm wondering on like how much traction he's really getting in the free agent market. But he had a good season. I ain't sitting here like scoffing at nothing. I'm just saying I wonder if there's that many teams. If it's like Chiefs, Saints, maybe one other team. Regardless, what's your thoughts on the Saints losing so many of those veterans going into? It's been a rebuild phase, if you will, G, but this is about as real as the rebuild's gotten through the last few years. Like, it's for real. Gone, over with, restart, Kellen Moore era. Here we are. What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, this has to do with Staley doesn't like having older guys on the defense. He like his defense to be young and athletic, and that's why you see Demario Davis moving on to the Jets. That's why you see Cam Jordan not making a decision and probably won't be coming back. That's why you're seeing Tyrann Mathieu retire 2 weeks in the training camp. Staley doesn't like older guys, and that's just his mindset. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that's what it is, bro. He wants to be young on the defense, and if that's gonna be the approach he takes, that defense better be top tier.
And that leads me into my next question, the last question, and we're gonna leave everybody off with number 8 pick, G. Smells like defense, but do you get wide receiver? If so, is it Mekhi Lemon? Do you got any other options? It just smells like you got to go defense if you're losing all those pieces.
I've been saying this since the season ended. We gotta go receiver at 8, bro. We gotta give
Okay.
Tyler Shough some more weapons.
So who
And
you getting? Lemon?
Carnell Tate, bro, from
Okay.
Ohio State. Carnell Tate. I hope he's still there at 8, bro. I hope he's still there. We gotta get Carnell Tate. 6'3". He can run, has good body control, runs good routes. He's coming from a wide receiver factory. You gotta get him at 8, bro. You gotta do it, bro. You got to.
He's got a range around that top 10 mark. The consensus is kind of like 7, though, which sucks because that's right before the Saints. They're thinking the Commanders might pick him up. JD5 might add his ass.
I hope not.
That's a good one because I think, here's another reason why you got to go wide receiver too, potentially. You got rid of Shaheed, bro. Got rid of Shaheed, and look at that shit. It look like an LA Fitness squad when you look at their roster, the depth chart at wide receiver.
And we need a tight end.
Ooh, well, y'all just got Noah Fant. All right, my bad. The face, that's all I need to see. Well, hold on, everybody, look at that. Zoom in on that. That man said, really? Really? Man, come on. I mean, I had him in fantasy. You know what I mean? He might get you like 2 catches.
Come on, man.
Better
You
than
trying to win? You trying to win a game? You trying to get a first down, or you trying to win a division and compete for a Super Bowl? You let me know.
What you trying to win, dog? What you trying to win? You
Come
right.
on, man.
You
We
right.
not thinking the same.
The bar isn't really high, so I guess some things surprise me with the Saints, some things don't. But that's a good point. We got to strive, bro. We got to strive. Appreciate your time, G. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Hit that thumbs up. Go follow us on Twitter. We out of here.